So welcome back everyone. I got a newbie with me and I'm really excited about bringing her on. I have with me Margie Conley. She's the owner of Supreme Acupuncture. Welcome to the show. You got to tell everybody a little bit about yourself and how you got into doing acupuncture.
Thank you so much for having me,
Get
Carol.
right up on the mic.
Thank you. I have been a licensed acupuncturist for 10 years. I went to school in Tucson at the Han University of Traditional Medical Studies. I have a master's in Chinese medicine and a master's in Chinese herbal medicine as well. And I got into Chinese medicine because I've always wanted to create balance in my life. I learned the term homeostasis from the Western side of viewing things and looked into Chinese medicine at the encouragement of my husband, and it just was this light bulb that went off, and I just loved every minute of it, and here I am 10 years later.
And before we came on today, we've been talking for a long time, and one of the things that we were talking about is how people out there, you're waking up a little bit. Waking up because this stuff has been around for a long time, folks, and it does work. We were talking about how some people think things are a little bit woo-woo-y, but they're changing. They're wanting this now more than ever because they're not getting answers from their doctors. They're not getting better.
Correct, yes. So many people do find their way to a Chinese medicine practitioner like a acupuncturist because they're looking for a new way to do things. They're not wanting medications. Maybe they went to the Western route the first way. Maybe they didn't get the answers that they were looking for, or they didn't get any answers, but they're still suffering. And so they do, many people do come to my clinic for that very reason.
Sure. Now you're located in Phoenix, in the Arcadia neighborhood. Write this number down. You can either call or text. It's 602-730-4332. Her website is supremeacupuncture.com. So what can somebody, like a patient that you have that comes in for acupuncture, expect on their first appointment?
So the first appointment includes a detailed intake. I have them fill out forms online. I look at them prior to them coming, and it's about a 30-minute to 35-minute intake, and I go over the whole intake. What are they coming to see me for? Questions about their sleep, their energy, their dietary health, and the assessment also includes two things that are unique to Chinese medicine. One is feeling the pulse, and the other thing is we look at the tongue, and that can guide me to what's going on internally. And so then I come up with a treatment plan with the acupuncture needles, and sometimes it includes things like electric stim acupuncture, cupping, a technique called gua sha. All of those are options and included into the treatment if necessary.
So I just wanted to hear you correctly. Every time that you have somebody that comes into your office, one of the first things you do is look at their tongue.
Yes, I do assess the tongue.
That's
yes.
Amazing.
Yes.
But it's got to have, it makes sense.
It does.
It does make sense.
Yeah.
Now, a lot of people are curious, but they're nervous about needles. What can you do about that? Because I know, I'm a little bit nervous.
You know, it is daunting because it's a new experience. They've never been to a treatment like acupuncture before. So I really work hard to establish rapport with my patients and really listen to them. Some people can handle needles, and some people, maybe it's 4 or 5 needles, and some people, maybe it's 20 needles. But the needles are inserted really gently under the skin. My technique is very soft, and if a person has a reaction, because you can feel the needles. I mean, they are
needles.
They do elicit, sometimes I hate to use the word pain, but there's a feeling to it. But if it's too strong, I tell my patients I'm going to take it out because I want them to feel comfortable with me. I want them to feel comfortable on the table. And so if it's too strong, I just take it out because it's already done its job.
Now, what kinds of issues or symptoms do you see most often from your patients?
A lot of times, mostly people come for pain. So back pain, headaches, shoulder pain, things like that, and then they realize that I can do other things like digestion, insomnia. I do a lot of electric stim acupuncture where I'm resetting the vagus nerve, which really helps a lot of, because the vagus nerve just goes all through all the organ systems.
Is that my problem?
I don't know. Maybe you should come in,
My
Carol.
vagus nerve.
So mostly it's pain, and then they realize that their hot flashes are better, or their energy has increased. So mostly pain.
So how safe, I mean, this is a silly question, because how long, I'm not even gonna ask you this question. I wanna ask you, how long has acupuncture been around?
4,000 to 5,000 years.
4,000 to 5,000 years. Why aren't we all using it?
That's a great question, but really things are changing. There's a lot of people seeking other alternative methods, and even though it seems invasive with the needles, but it's really not. They're so small and tiny,
Mhm.
and most of the time people are like, "Oh my gosh, I can't even believe that I didn't even feel it."
Right.
Are they in? I'm
Right.
Like, yes, they are.
It's
So-
amazing. Now, is acupuncture then safe, obviously?
Yes, the needles come sterile, prepackaged. If there's a chance that a needle may brush my skin, or definitely falls on the floor, I mean, they're all sterile, one-time use. I have sharps containers, and there's a clean needle technique that I had to do in past when I was in school that I follow. And most of the time, the way that I do treat, I use the limbs and maybe the head or the scalp, and so a lot of times they don't even put the needles anywhere close to any vital organs.
Now, I just gotta go back to the tongue for a second, okay? I have
Sure.
to, because I just wanna make sure you're not, and I'm hoping, you're not putting the needles in the tongue.
Oh gosh, no.
See, I just wanted to say that, just because I wanted
No.
people to hear that.
No, it's just the
Right.
visual.
Exactly.
Exam
But I'm
of
gonna
it.
ask you, when you do look at the tongue, I mean, what is it visually, when you see something that's wrong, what do you usually see?
Well, we look at the color of the tongue,
Mm-hmm,
the coat, whether or not there is a coat.
mm-hmm,
The organ systems of the main channels are represented on the tongue, and so
Wow.
like a lot of times people will come in and there's an area very close to the tip of the tongue, that's the lung area,
mm-hmm,
and sometimes there's a dip in it, like there's a bowl,
mm-hmm.
and I'll say, "Did you have childhood asthma?" And they're like, "Yeah, I
Wow.
did. How did you know?" And I said, "Well, it's represented on your tongue."
Isn't it amazing? And the only reason why I wanted you to bring it up is because you said you look at it, and I know we're talking acupuncture, I just wanna make that clear.
Yes.
That's not, she's not putting the needles in there.
Right.
But how quickly do people typically see results?
Usually, I would say almost every person that leaves feels relaxed. And if their body can relax, then they have a better chance of healing. And so for a pain condition, most of the time people leave feeling better. There's a shift in their pain. If they get 4 hours of relief, then that's a good response that I'm looking for.
Mhm.
And so a lot of times when people have a lot of pain, it's like serious pain, I like to see them at least 2 times a week. If my schedule allows and their schedule allows, because if I can get them in before the pain cycle comes back, we can break that pain cycle, and then they have better chance of having long-term relief.
Her phone number to call is 602-730-4332. You can call or text that number. She's located in Phoenix in the Arcadia neighborhood, and her website is supremeacupuncture.com. We gotta talk about insurance. We were talking about it before you came on, so let's
Yeah.
talk about it now.
Okay, great question. So I am credentialed with Blue Cross, Blue Shield, United Healthcare, and TriWest. I am a community care provider through the VA as well. And so if someone has insurance, I can direct them how to call their insurance company to verify if they have coverage, and if my clinic is under their plan. So
Mhm.
it's very crucial for me to have that information, because I don't want a patient to discover 4 or 5 treatments down that they actually don't have coverage. So
Mhm.
we kind of nip that in the bud.
Sure.
The other thing about insurance is that Medicare does cover 12 visits for chronic low back pain.
But listen to this, there's always a caveat.
There is. The unfortunate thing about it, and it is misleading and it's very discouraging to many people who do call me, is that as an acupuncturist, I cannot bill Medicare. And so even though Medicare does offer it, there isn't an acupuncturist that could bill it directly. If they worked under the guides of a medical doctor, it's possible, for the acupuncturist to perform it, but we cannot bill Medicare.
So that means that, even though they say that you can get these 12, unfortunately, they can't bill Medicare, so that negates that.
Right.
But here's the thing, though, she does take many of the nice insurance policies that you do take.
Right, and if someone doesn't have coverage on their plan and they have a FSA card or HSA card, I'm able to accept them as well.
So you know something, folks, here's the thing, there's a lot of people out there in a ton of pain, but not just pain, there's a lot of different things that you can go for. For instance, some of the other ones that you also can help with.
So I treat a lot of autoimmune disorders like RA and lupus, sleeping, digestion, energy.
Even Medicare, I'm not Medicare, even menopause.
Menopause, for sure. Yeah.
Again, you can call her at 602-730-4332. It's supremeacupuncture.com.